Thanks for hopping on this morning. Appreciate it. We're gonna go over some. Obviously, we're gonna talk about Facebook. I've got three main things we're gonna talk about. We're gonna try to keep it to.
You're really garbled, JD.
Can't hear me that well?
No, it was for that, but the other was pretty garbled.
Okay, well, I didn't do anything different between those two moments, so we'll go with it and see what happens. It might be that I need to turn your audio off so that it's not like echoey or something like that. Is everything been coming through clear so far?
That seems to be a little bit better. Talk a little more and we'll let you know.
All right. Well, yeah. I'll talk at a slightly louder volume and hopefully not annoy the other people in the office. Okay. So we're gonna talk, like I said, about three main things. We're gonna try to keep it to 45 minutes or so. But if we go over, that's because I'm answering your guys' questions. I want to make sure you guys get something out of this. So we're gonna talk Facebook in general. And the thing that I wanted to start with is the why. So let me actually. I like to do this every once in a while. Show. It's this button right here. Hold tight for a second. There we go. Hi everyone. I think you can see me now, right?
Yes, we
Okay, cool. I think this is, instead of just staring at a screen for a couple seconds, it's easier to do it like this. So, when it comes to like all the Facebook social marketing stuff, there are sort of two parts to it, which is the how to do it and then the why are we doing it. And I think one half without the other is really detrimental to what you're trying to do. Because if you know what to do but not how to do it, then you're just kind of left with your wheel spinning in the mud. But if you know what to do but not why you're doing it, then you have no motivation. And that kind of really plays into the downfall of your content, of your posting, of your ads. Because if you don't have any reason to be doing it, then you're not going to put in the effort or the thought into it. So I want to start with like I said, the why Facebook. So these are just some stats. I think stats are always pretty useful overall, but Facebook has all of the puzzle pieces. You know, we're going to talk mainly, I mean, probably specifically only to Facebook today. We're not really going to talk about Instagram or any of the other platforms, but that's because Facebook has all of those pieces.
JD,
yeah.
Can you hear us? It's very garbled. It's just fading in and out. It's not real clear. Is there something different we can do?
Let me try this. I'm going to turn your audio off, and then I'm going to see if that makes it any better for you guys. So I'm going to, one sec. All right, you guys are muted now. So go ahead and write in the thing and let me know if that changes anything. Otherwise, we'll have to try to do the phone audio, and I'll have to like call in to the webinar, and I don't even know if that'll be better audio or not. So is this coming through better, or is it coming through? Okay, seems better. So we'll go with this, and then if you have questions, just write in the box, and then I'll unmute you, and then we can ask them verbally instead of having to like write all of them through. But yeah, the only other thing we could do is do the phone audio, which I've never. It's normally worse in my experience, but we'll go with this for now. So. So yeah, Facebook has all of the puzzle pieces. Everything that another platform has, whether that's Marketplace and Craigslist, whether that's Yelp and reviews, Facebook has all of them in one place. You can search for something, look at their menu online. You can contact a restaurant or a business or anything right through your Facebook app. You can go to the Marketplace, find something and buy something, all without leaving the app. And it's all about ease for the consumer at the end of the day. All of those things are easier to do for me from Facebook than going to Craigslist, searching for something, finding it, sending the link to someone, going through email. Like, it doesn't seem like it's that much more difficult, but it is the matter of I can do everything from one app, or I'm going all over the place, copying and pasting and remembering. The average American, I mean, these are just, stats of people on Facebook. The average American spends 40 minutes a day on Facebook. Now, that doesn't mean that they're sitting there for 40 minutes at one time doing everything, but it means that they're waiting in line somewhere. They're taking a break from work for 5 minutes and going on Facebook. They're, waiting for something when they're making dinner to get done. So all of these little things add up. So 40 minutes a day is a lot of time on one platform. The big things, of course, 2 billion monthly users as of late last year. Over 2 billion now. About 86, 87% of them use their phone. So anytime you do an ad, anytime you do any sort of posting, you always need to be thinking, what is this going to look like on the phone, on mobile? Especially if there's a lot of text in your ad. We'll talk about that in a couple, or towards the end. But anything that you're posting, especially from my desktop, which is like, a big 20-something inch computer, people are going to be viewing from their 6-inch phone screens. So you need to keep that in mind when you're doing any sort of advertising. But 87% of people are on there, so that's why it's important. And you can capture their attention a lot easier, which I'll talk about as we go. And then, of course, the cost. So I was in Ohio last week, and I talked about this a little bit there. But right now is the best. I mean, maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago was the best time to get into Facebook. But right now is still the best time for us to take advantage of this, because on average, it costs between $7 and $10 to get in front of 1,000 people. And when I say get in front of, I mean for them to see your ad on their Facebook, on their newsfeed, on their phone, anywhere. About $10, $7 for 1,000 people. The reason it's so cheap right now is that, and it's gone up. It used to be just $7, and now it's kind of closer to the $8, $9, $10 per 1,000 people. But none of the giant, I was listening to a speaker talk about this, but he was talking about how the commercials, the commercial industry, meaning like television commercials, is still an $80 billion a year industry. That's loads. I mean, think of how much money people pay for a 10-second, 30-second spot in the Super Bowl. Yet the second, with the exception of the Super Bowl, I'd say, the second commercials come on, we take out our phones. We tune out of commercials. So people are spending millions of dollars on a commercial of a Jeep going up a hill, and we're sitting on Facebook waiting for the commercials to be done. So the second that those big companies truly, really realize that they can get in front of us and spend their millions and hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, the cost of our attention is going to skyrocket. So right now is one of the best times to get into Facebook, because it is still so cheap. On average, it can cost you between, and again, it depends on how good your ad is, but 6 cents for somebody to click on your ad, on your listing, on your open house, on your article. 6 cents for people to do that. I don't know any other method where you can not only spend $10 to get your ad in front of people, but only 6 cents for them to actually click on your ad and see your content that you're trying to get in front of them. Advertising customization. One of the fun things about Facebook, and I hate saying fun because it sounds cheesy, but one of the fun things is that you can do so many cool different ads. The number of agents I talked to, again, I was talking with an agent in Ohio last week. He's like, I have this really cool idea for an ad I wanted to do for a campaign I thought would be kind of funny. And he told me what it was, and I was like, that's an amazing idea. You need to do it. Too many agents I've talked to have great ideas and then never follow up on them. Whether it's because they don't know how to, or because they don't, you can't really do it through print, or whatever the reason is. Facebook is the place where you can go through and do that thing, follow through on that idea, and something really fun could happen. And then, of course, all the analytics and metrics, meaning when I put an ad out there, actually, let me see if I can even find an example for you. When we do an ad, we get analytics on how well that ad did. We don't just, throw it out there and then hope that it does well. We can see how it did. We can look back on it and say, okay, so here's one that the admin in the Holland office did. So we spent, I'm going to click on view results here. So here, we spent $100. We got, this ad is in front of 7,300 people, and the link clicks, meaning the people who clicked on it, 749 people clicked and looked at our open houses that week. That is a lot of people. I don't know how many, if you do a newspaper ad, and I'm not anti-print by any means, but if you do a newspaper ad, once you kind of send your ad to the magazine or to the newspaper and they confirm it, that's it. That's all the control you have over your ad. You don't know if anybody sees it, how many people really look at it, how many people just throw it away. This shows you how many people engaged with your ad, how many people actually looked at it, not just looked at this, but clicked on it and took action based off of it. We can see people who liked it down there. You can see the breakdown of men versus women of age groups who are clicking on your ad. So from here, we can see that the majority of people clicking on this ad are women, especially in between 25 and 55. So anything between, under 25 and above 65, not a lot of action there. But we can learn who our audience is. You can't do that with print ads. You can talk, when we talk with the Holland Sentinel, which is our local paper, they tell us how many people our ads reach, how many people get their, Saturday or Friday paper, but that's it. We don't hear anything past that. So with Facebook ads, you have control over who you're targeting, and you have control of the analytics on the back end of it. So I want to go over a couple demographics things again, because one excuse or one reason I get from a lot of people who don't want to do Facebook ads is that, well, my audience isn't on there. My sphere is not on Facebook. The people who I market to aren't on there. The other thing that I hear, kind of the flip of that, is that Facebook is only for millennials. Only kids and teens and young adults are on Facebook. Both of those things are blatantly just not true. But for the first stat I'm going to show you, we're going to talk about the millennial thing. Let's just go ahead and say, and it's not true, but let's just say that millennials are the only group on Facebook, that they make up the majority of it. These are stats from NAR for 2016 and 2017 buyer reports. If you look, basically what this right here is saying is that 34% of the entire home buying market are millennials, 36 and younger. So over a third of all home buyers in the market are millennials. Additionally, if you look down here in this corner, millennials make up 2/3 of first-time home buyers. So if we were going along with the notion that millennials are the only people on Facebook, do you really want to leave out an advertising method that targets a third of all home buyers and 2/3 of all first-time home buyers? Now, I don't have stats for this, and I wish I did. I would love to see what the breakdown is of millennials who subscribe to cable, who subscribe to their paper, who get magazines, all those things, because I would bet they're a lot lower than the group of millennials who use Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. So even if millennials were the only ones to use Facebook, that's still a third of the entire home buying market. Secondly, and this is a breakdown to show you that, and I'm going to try to maximize this because I know the font's pretty small. But again, this is being recorded, and so we can watch it later afterwards. Basically, these three stats right here, these bottom three, the 82, the 79, the 56, what this is saying is that of every demographic who uses the internet, 18 to 29, 30 to 49, 65 and older, every single demographic who uses the internet, the majority of them are on Facebook, use Facebook, active profiles. So this bottom stat, 56% of online users who are 65 and older use Facebook. 56% of everybody who's 65 and older who uses the internet uses Facebook. And then the younger you go from there, the higher that percentage gets. 79% of 30 to 49-year-olds use Facebook if they're on the internet. And then 82% of 18 to 29-year-olds who are online in the U.S. use Facebook. So it's not an age group thing. Every age group who is on the internet uses Facebook. The majority of them use Facebook. One thing I get a lot too from our UP offices and our maybe more kind of rural offices is that, well, we have a lot less people in our area. We're not Howland, we're not Grand Rapids, we're not Cleveland. And again, this is one of those things that studies show. If anything, that's good. That means that less people are in your area using Facebook targeting. I was running an ad in the Cadillac area, which is kind of like mid-Michigan. I was looking up some audience sizes for the manager up there, Daniela, and what I noticed was that when I put in all of the zip codes in that area, our reach was actually a higher percentage of the population, meaning that for $10 in Holland, I might reach 2% of the population I'm trying to reach. In Cadillac area, it was closer to 6, 7, 8% because there were less advertisers in that area, which means that my money went further. It's just like with Zillow, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but the less populated Zillow areas cost less for you to get into versus the bigger areas. That's exactly what's happening here. So if anything, if you're in a more rural area, more spread out area, you have a greater advantage because there are less people using Facebook advertising, which means that if you'd use it, first of all, you're going to stand out. You can say things to your buyers and sellers that, hey, I do listing campaigns on Facebook. But secondly, your advertising dollars are going to be more powerful because there are less people that you're competing with in your area. So, one last sort of, I guess, why thing, because I want to keep us moving. I don't want to spend too much time. Um, Basically, what Facebook advertising comes down to, and I'm just going to leave this Gary guy on screen because he's kind of where this philosophy comes from, but what Facebook advertising comes down to is value. How much value are you giving your audience? Because keep in mind, when I'm on Facebook, when I'm on my personal page here, I am scrolling through posts from my friends. And I know it's not updating as fast on your screen, but I'm scrolling through posts from my friends, from sports teams I like, from magazines and content that I'm interested in, and then boom, there's your ad. Your ad is in the middle of my content with my friends and my interests. So it needs to be interesting. It's on you to get me hooked on what you want me to watch, to read, anything like that. It's not, as much as it's advertising for you as an agent, it's not about you, it's about what you can offer me. Because if I don't care about your ad, I'm scrolling right past it. And you see how, I mean, again, it's kind of glitchy from your side, but I can scroll through 7 posts with the flick of my finger. Same thing on my phone. I can scroll through a bunch of posts with just moving my thumb once. So what that means is that your ads need to be interesting, but they also need to give me something. Meaning that I need to get some sort of value from you. So this quote from this Gary Vaynerchuk is, there are hundreds of papers, articles, and video tutorials that will teach you how to create ads. Coming from me specifically, there are plenty of videos and materials I've made for Schmidt that will teach you how to do stuff. But what will determine whether yours work or not will be how much time you spend listening to your audience, your consumers, and gauging what content will best speak to them. The only way to do that is to experiment and see what happens. So what he's saying is that what really matters is listening, is putting content out and seeing how it does. If you did a video for a listing that did really well, okay, keep trying to do listing videos like that. If you try something that doesn't work that well, all right, don't do that ad again. But you need to listen, because one part of the this is something I've been talking about a lot more lately, and I'll actually have a video going out on this in the next couple of weeks. The beauty and the problem with Facebook advertising is that it's so easy to do a Facebook ad that I can go to my business page, and once I've established, my audiences and stuff, I can scroll down once it loads because the internet's slow. Okay, so maybe I can't do it that fast. I can scroll down, I can find the post, I can click Boost Post, I can click my audience that I want to use right here. I can say spend $20 and I can boost now. And just like that, my ad is out in front of people. That's great because it's such a low bar of entry, meaning that if I want to do a Facebook ad, I can. I just showed you how easily I can do an ad. The problem with that is that, and I'm going to just do this so you're not looking at that dog. The problem with that is that allows us to stop thinking about the ads that we're doing. It allows us to just kind of go into autopilot mode. Is that new listing, post it, make an audience, done. And that starts to become detrimental because if you're not thinking about what you're posting and you're just sort of doing it in the motions, then you don't really know what success is going to be like with your ad. So I have a lot of people come to me and they say, Facebook advertising isn't working. And I say, okay, what do you mean? And they're like, what have you been trying to do? And they're like, well, I've been boosting ads and I'm not getting anything from it. And I say, okay, well, what's the goal of your ad? And they're like, I don't know, I just want more business. And that's such a vague and kind of cop-out answer, because of course we all want more business. That's why we're advertising in the first place. But if you're putting ads out there with no idea of what your goal is, then how do you know if it's going to succeed? So if I do an ad for me, just like a general video, a funny video, a useful tip, versus a listing video or just an open house I have, all of those ads are going to have different goals, right? A video of me being hopefully funny is more just branding for myself, getting my name and my kind of face out there. Whereas if I do an ad for an open house, obviously my goal is to get people to my open house. So you need to have an idea of what you're doing with your ad, and you need to be thinking about what you're doing when you're creating ads, because if you don't have any idea what your kind of goal is, then how are you going to know if you succeed? So for the sake of time, I'm going to we're going to go right into how to post content to your business page. A couple of things I would normally do if we had an hour and a half is I'd show you how to create a business page and how to stay compliant with that. We're going to skip over that for now, but there are materials so if you go to cbsocial.media, if you type in cbsocial.media to your browser, it'll take you to a social media tip series on how, and with tips with 16 videos on how to do that, on how to create a business page, how to name your page. They're all a minute or two long max. The longest video on here is a minute 52. They're closer to a minute 10, minute 15. So watch these videos. They'll show you how to do it. But honestly, also, Facebook makes it incredibly easy for you to create a business page. If you really want to start, all you have to do is when you're on Facebook.com, and you can do all of this. Oh, cool, Portugal won. I'm a big soccer fan, so I've been watching. The World Cup is just the best time of year. So when you're on Facebook, you can do all of this from your phone. Personally, and this is purely personal preference, I find that doing any sort of ad creation or business page stuff for me is easier to do from a desktop because I just like having this bigger screen here. So if you go to the upper right hand corner of your screen, and I don't think you can see it right now because of how small the screen is, but there's a question mark, and right next to it there's a little downward triangle. If you click on that, a little menu will come up for settings and for your pages and stuff. If you scroll down, there's a tab that says Create Page. If you click on that button, it's going to start taking you through the process. You want to do business or brand, and then you're going to start filling stuff out. So Facebook does an amazing job of walking you through it, but I want to skip into the content part of it. So this is what this is a test business page I have. For whatever reason, there are 68 likes on this page, even though every time I talk about it, I tell people it is a test page. So don't go and like this page, okay? Let me take a quick sip of coffee because it's still early. Well, it's not that early, but coffee. And actually, before we get into this, I'm going to unmute you guys for a quick sec. I know a lot of what we were just sort of talking about is more, I don't want to say philosophical, but like the why part of it. But I'm going to unmute you. Do you guys have any questions so far about the why, about the audiences, about, just the statistics?
No.
No? All right.
Nothing.
Cool. All right, so that's good. That's no questions out of 105 people. That's pretty great. Okay, so we're going to move on. Like I said, we're going to talk about how to post content now. So I have my business page up right here. The main thing that people want to know how to post is their listings. If you get a new listing, you want to post that to Facebook. You want to share that business. Now, there are a bunch of places you could pull that from, right? You could take it from Zillow, from the MLS, from CB Great Lakes, from ColdwellBanker.com, from Realtor.com. There are plenty of places you could share that listing from. I'm going to show you two of them, and I'm going to tell you why I always think CB Great Lakes is better. I always share, if I were sharing a listing, it would always be from CB Great Lakes. So I've got, right here, I've got the MLS link up for a property. And next to it, I have the CB Great Lakes link up for a property. So from this one, this is the MLS. Now I know your guys' MLS looks different than ours, because this is the kind of Holland Woodland MLS. Excuse me. But they all look generally the same. And what I mean by that is confusing. So if I were on Facebook and I saw an ad for a new listing, and I know I have one right here. So like if I saw this ad for a new listing, right? Gorgeous Elk Lake custom home, et cetera, and I clicked on that, and this is what it brought me to, I would be pretty confused. The MLS is great for realtors and for people in the industry, but it is not very user-friendly from people who've never been in it before. I can obviously find my way around it. I can see, okay, well, bedrooms, full bath, I can find that info there. But there's so much text. Additionally, I can't search anything from here. So oftentimes when people click on a listing, and this is just sort of human nature, is when I look at a listing, the next thing I want to do is see what else is available in that area. From the MLS, it's difficult to do that because unless you are already hooked up with a realtor, you can't log in and search from here. There's nowhere I can go. I can look at the photos, I can look at the map, but I can't search other listings. So When I click on CB Great Lakes, however, it's already much cleaner. I've got one photo right here. I've got the address, I've got the price, and I've got the information, the 5-bed, 3-bath, sorry. And then if I want to scroll down more, I can still see all the other features and stuff. But this looks so much nicer than the MLS link. Additionally, if I do want to search for more, all I have to do is click Find a Home at the top bar there, and boom, I'm searching for homes in Michigan. I can put in my all of my criteria up top there. So because of that, I always say share from CB Great Lakes. Now I know that normally when you're uploading a listing to the MLS, it's really easy to click. There's a lot of the MLSs have a share button where you can just click share to Facebook, and share that listing. I know it's easier to do that, but this extra step really makes a difference because, again, it's not about how easy it is for you. It's about how easy it is for me when I see your ad. So I'm going to click out of this MLS listing, and I'm going to show you how to do it from the CB Great Lakes site. Now, there is up here, people see this a lot, there are these 4 icons up here. This little yellow one has a share to Facebook button that you can click and share that way. I don't recommend doing that, and I'm going to show you why. There are a couple things that you can do from my method that you cannot do from this method. So I'm going to X out of this. So overall, it's pretty easy to share your listings to Facebook. It really is a matter of just copy and paste. So you see I've got the listing right here, and then in another tab on my browser, I've got my business page. So I'm just going to go to the listing, go to the top where the link is. I'm going to right click and copy the link. Then I'm going to go back to my business page, right here where it says write a post. I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to paste the link in here. And you're going to wait. It says fetching preview. Basically, it's pulling in the information from the site, which you'll see now. Hopefully the photo populates. Boom, there you go. Just like that, I wonder if they have, yeah. Just like that, I've got the listing populated. There are a few things you want to do from here. Post options, okay, share. Okay, I just want to make sure. Facebook has a tendency to change things pretty consistently, so they changed one thing, and I just figured out how to do it. So from here, always, always, always delete this link up here. It is messy, it is confusing, and it does not need to be there. Delete. Just like that. Now it's blank, and you can kind of see if it in little gray letters it says write a post. You want to write something here. Always, always, always write something. What do you write? You write something that makes me want to click on this listing. Okay? You try to entice me in. So don't ever just say new listing or check this out, because that's almost as good as writing nothing. That's lazy. I mean, it's lazy, and it does not make me want to click on it. If you're going to take the time to try to get me to click on something, you better tell me why I should click on it. What do I get out of this? What about this home is so great? So I could say beautiful ranch, and or say new listing alert to try to get attention, right? New listing alert. Beautiful ranch in quiet Rockford neighborhood. Or in small, maybe, just to make sure that you can't break anything for house. Small Rockford neighborhood. 5 bedrooms with extra office space, 3 baths, and a basketball court in the backyard. The reason I know so much about this home is that it's my parents' home that just went pending. So I know this home pretty well. I grew up in it for 20-some years. So click below for more info. So just like that, I've got about 3 lines, maybe 3.5 lines of text that try to pull you in. And if you want to make it fun, this is easier to do from your phone. But if you want to make it a little bit more fun, you can add a I wonder if I could just type arrow. Add like an emoji to it. I see people do this a lot. So I can just put this little arrow right here, downward black arrow, and boom, I got a little arrow pointing down. So it says click below for more info with the arrow. Just a fun little thing to change it up a little bit. Now, oh, that text is going to stay there because it's going to be annoying. I want to show you the 2 things that you can do this way that you cannot do from the Facebook share button. Firstly, if you'll notice, this photo right here versus the one on the MLS, is different. This is a lot brighter and sunnier and nicer looking. The other one, they took an exterior and it that it was on a rainy day, so they came back and took them. So from here, you can add more photos. So if you look below the post, oh cool, that worked out well. You'll see this little 1 in the frame, and if you click this plus though, you can add more photos from your computer. So I'm going to go to the one that I just took a screenshot of, which was the more recent one. Click that right there. Wait for it to load. Zoom out a little bit and see if it'll let me do that. So it looks really strange right now, and I hate that they do this, but it will show up normally when we post it. Additionally, I could check both boxes, and I can rearrange them down here. So then if I really wanted to, I could throw 4 or 5 photos up. I could have one of the exterior, one of the basketball court that we talked about, one of the master bed. So if you have your photos on your computer, let me just add another random one that I have on a couple Getty image photos I have here. If I add these, and wait for them to load, you can do up to 5 photos in a post. And this is called a carousel post because there are multiple things here. So I can rearrange them. If you click to the sides, you can see that there are 4 different photos now. And if you really want to get really in depth, do you see this the text beneath each photo? I can change that. So I can say new listing alert, $295, or maybe don't tell the prices so that they kind of get interested. This is not the backyard, but I could change this to say beautiful views from your back porch. So you can go through and edit the text for each of those slides to make it more custom and more interesting. And like I said, it's zoomed out in a really weird way right now. That's not how it appears when you click post. I hate that they do it like this, but it's just one of those dumb little Facebook things. So the other thing you can do from here that you can't do from the share to Facebook button is you can schedule your posts. So I always tell people, if you really want to be doing Facebook well and think of it as like you're a main part of your business, you should be posting at least 5 things a week, 1 thing a day. Now I understand completely that not everybody has time to do that, to post once a day. So this schedule feature allows you to post however many things you want at once or from a different time. So at my old job when I worked out in LA, one of our pages we posted we had an international audience. We had people all over the world following us. So we posted stuff on our page every hour. 24 hours a day, something was going out. Now that does not mean at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I was getting up and posting those things. I was scheduling them the day before. So from here, I'm going to zoom in again. You'll see it says newsfeed. Now, it says share, and right now it says share now. If I click on this little now button, it's going to give me some options, and I can say schedule. If I click on schedule, it's just going to ask me, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, when do you want to schedule it? I can say I want it to go live on Thursday the 21st, and I'm going to pick at 2:00 p.m. And just like that, if I click schedule, it's going to go live at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Now, I'm going to do it now because I want to show you guys some more things. Two more things about posting listings. I guess one more thing. You need to always properly credit a listing. So, if this was my listing, if I were the listing agent, I could say exactly what I said up here and not have any issues because it's my listing. If I was sharing somebody else's listing, because this is Amy Klein's listing, the manager in Rockford, I need to give her credit. So I need to say at the end, listing provided by Amy Klein, or listed by Amy Klein. I need to give her proper credit. Even if maybe I'm hosting the open house, I still need to say listing provided by so-and-so. You always need to give proper credit. You can say, click below for more info, or call me for a private showing. You can still ask people to give you a private, or you can have people contact you for a private showing, but you need to provide credit for who the listing agent is. Secondly, if they're a Coldwell Banker agent, this is just fine. If they're within your brokerage, this is fine. However, if for whatever reason you're sharing a listing from a different brokerage, which I've seen some people do that. I don't know why they'd want to do that. But if you are, you need to credit the brokerage as well. Listing provided by Amy Klein with Century 21 or with, Real Estate 1. So you always need to credit a listing properly. You need to give credit where credit is due. I'm going to delete that part for the sake of this ad. And then I'm also going to take out this click below for more info. So I'm going to take out the private showing part because I want to show you guys something when we get to an ad. So, whoops, go back to 100. Okay, so now this is done. This post is complete. So I click share now. It's going to upload the post, and boom. This is what it looks like. You see, do you remember what I was saying about the photos zoom in kind of weird? Now they look much more normal. You see the whole front of the house. You see the other photos. You can, if I'm on my phone, of course, I'm swiping. So here we go. That's it. That's my listing put on Facebook. Now, if I wanted to, I could, like I said, I could do the next post for a different listing for something else. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that as great as Facebook is for listings, and it is great, people are always going to react to a person better than a property. Because it's social, right? It's social media. It's relational. So a lot of the ads you should be thinking of should be personal branding ads as well. Not just listings. If I just listed and sold my home with you, and you asked me to like your business page, and I do because I had a great experience with you, but all you post are listings, then why should I stay on your page? I'm not looking for listings anymore. I already did that. So always post other content as well, whether that's stuff from the Coldwell Banker blog. So as an example, let me show you that. If you just literally go to blog.coldwellbanker.com, go to that site, there are hundreds of articles that you can post from here, completely free. I'd say half of it kind of stinks. I'd say half of it is awesome. So all the ways your front entrance can sell your ... It's already trailing off. Probably not going to be that interested in it. And keep in mind, you're not posting to other realtors. You're posting to your audience. So I'm going to click on older articles here because there are some good ones. So again, I'm a pet person. So that's interesting. You know, I would do a lot with our Adopt-A-Pet events. I have 3 adopted dogs of my own, which is its own crazy story in its own place. But pet and Adopt-A-Pet related content is interesting to me, and it's hopefully can be interesting to other people. So if I see one here that says how to keep, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to just go to the search bar in the upper right-hand corner of the magnifying glass, and I'm just going to type pets, or just the word pet. You can type food, you can type moving, you can type Michigan. All of these articles, and there's plenty more, are pet-related content. So this one, the first one here, how to pet-proof your home and yard. We got a new puppy 10 or 11 days ago. Pet proofing is a thing that we are doing a lot of right now. So maybe this is interesting content that I could share that could hopefully be useful to me and to the people who see it. So just like the listing, it's the same method, right? You go up here, you copy, you go back to your business page, you paste, and then it loads with the photo from the website. Now, like I said, delete this link up here and now write something interesting. So don't just say new blog post or good read. Tell me something about it. So you might go in and say, like I said, we just got a new puppy 11 days ago. Whoops. Of course, you got to type correctly. Some of these tips have been super helpful. Right? So I'm already telling you, yeah, I got value from this. There was something here that was useful. And always make sure that you scroll and at least read it a little bit. Living rooms, kitchens. So maybe talk about, for whatever reason, our dog, the new puppy has been taking our bath mat in front of our shower all the time. So maybe I even reference the bathroom part. I say, especially the bathroom tips have been helpful. I write something like that. And then I click share now. Or I can schedule this. Like I said, post options. I'm going to schedule this one for tomorrow at 11 a.m. Schedule. Just like that. Yeah, let me show you what it looks like if I click schedule post. Now you'll see right here, it says one scheduled post, meaning that it's going to go live tomorrow at the time that I told it to, which is great. Okay, so we're going to go over 2 more things. One of them is kind of more philosophical, and then we're going to talk about audiences, how to actually boost an ad. So we're going to go over the 45, but we did start a couple minutes late. So I'm I'm going to try to talk fast, but again, if you guys have questions about any of this stuff, please write it in, because I want to make sure that what we're talking about makes sense. So, before we go to audiences, we're going to talk about video. Speaking of video, boom, hi. So, video, you've probably heard me say it, you've probably read about it at some point or somewhere. Video is the best form of content that you can post online right now. And that's for a bunch of different reasons. It's what Facebook, Coldwell Banker has a relationship with Facebook. We have a Facebook representative who talks with us as the brand. We've sat in a room with him, and he has told us that video is the type of content that they share more than anything else. So if we have the same size page, and you do photos and I do video, my video is going to reach more people automatically because it's video. Secondly, video is the kind of content that people interact with the most on Facebook. Video is watched far more than photos are looked at, than links are clicked on, than anything. And so because of those two things sort of feed into each other, right? So people watch a video more, so Facebook wants to share more video. Facebook shares more video, so we watch more video. And it's kind of like, it's cyclical like that, or it's it's cyclical, I guess. So video is the way to go. Now, I get that people are uncomfortable on camera if they've never been on camera before, and they don't know. I hear a lot of people say, I don't like the way I look or sound. I'm like, well, that's the way you look and sound, so you got to get over it. But that's the sort of content that people find more engaging. So, for example, this isn't our puppy, but this is one of our dogs, Gus, right? I like having that as a prop. That's kind of nice, actually. So I have two options, right? With that article that I just posted about how to pet-proof your home, I could post that article and write that caption that I did and post that, right? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Facebook is kind of like a ladder in the sense that, like, doing that is better than not posting at all. Having a business page is better than not having a page at all. But there are things you can do higher up that are more valuable than just posting the article. So I could just post that article and say, like I said, with the new puppy in the house, it's some of these tips are pretty helpful. Or I could go home, I could sit on my couch, I could take out my iPhone, if I wanted to, I could buy a $10 tripod for my phone from Amazon, or I could just prop it up against some books or against, some plates or a box or something like that, sit on the couch with my dog in my hand, and say, hey guys, JD here, realtor with Coldwell Banker Schmidt Realtors. I just got a new puppy about a week ago, and as great as it's been, there's been a lot of stuff that's annoying. I want to share 2 tips with you that I've seen be really helpful when training this pup. And then I share 2 or 3 main things. I can pull them right from the article if I want to, but I share 2 or 3 things with me on camera, with my dog on camera. And then at the end I say, if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, of course, give me a call. Otherwise, have a great day. Now, is that video specifically about real estate? No, but it's about value. It's about being interesting. I mean, dogs and babies are the 2 things that you can always get people to look at. It's about providing value. It's about getting my face in front of people. And it's about being entertaining or being interesting or being helpful, whatever kind of word you want to use there. Because if somebody's on my business page, if they liked my page, that means hopefully that they like me. They like something about me, whether they're friends and family, whether they were one of my clients and we had a great relationship and they enjoyed working with me. That means they value me. So are they more likely to watch a 45-second video with a dog, or are they more likely to scroll through that article on their phone, to click on it, wait for it to load, and then scroll? The video is just instantly more engaging. So when it comes to content, posting articles and sharing listings are great. They really are. But if you can do any of these things in video, you're gonna be more successful, especially with Facebook. If people always ask, like, what's the best thing I can do on Facebook? And I was like, if you want to optimize it the most, you can run Facebook ads that are video format trying to reach people. Video on Facebook is the most effective way of digital advertising right now. And so try it, right? So we're going to talk about, this last thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about how to boost these ads, how to create an ad, how to boost it, what that kind of means and stuff like that. So every post has a little button down here that says boost post, right? Almost everything you post will have that. Basically, trying to break it down, if I've got, like I said, if you look down here, I have, it's not zooming in that far, 68 likes on my page in the lower right hand corner. 68 likes. That means whenever I post something, like I just posted this listing, those 68 people have the opportunity to see my post. But that's it, just those 68 people. If they start sharing it, then of course their friends can see it too. But that's kind of where my limit is. If I just post something, only the people who are on my page will see it. It's called organic reach. You are organically reaching those people. Now, if I boost post, boosting a post means doing an advertisement. You are going to pay Facebook to put your content in front of other people. People who don't know who you are, who have not seen your page, etc. So, I'm going to click boost post. This is the screen, I want to how much we can zoom in, that's going to help me create my ad. Actually, I'm going to zoom out because that looks silly. Now, first things first, the right hand side over here is always going to show you what your ad looks like. If I see your advertisement on my Facebook page, this is what it's going to look like. You can see it says desktop, but more importantly, it says mobile. So if I click on the mobile thing right here, it's going to show me what my ad would look like on a phone. Now, this is a good amount of text because I can read all of it. If I put too much text in there, and actually let me just show you what that would look like. So I'm just going to copy that text. And if you click right here in these three dots, you can edit your post if you need to change something or there's a typo. So I'm just going to add it twice more. Whoops. Maybe. Yeah. So look, now I have it three. So it's just 3 times the text, right? If I click boost post and I go to mobile, look, it automatically says more. So already I'm telling people, hey, I want you to read this, but I want you to click to read everything I have to say. Already you're making me work to look at your ad. That is not a good way. That's not a good foot to get off on. So to start off on. So I'm going to cancel the promotion. I'm going to go back and edit it. And I'm going to go back to just obviously just the one paragraph. So then if I go back to boost post and I click on mobile, you'll see that you can read everything from here. I'm not making you work just to read my post, all right? The left side over here is the difficult part. This is the part that takes up time. So basically what we have to do, and there was part of that already disappeared, boost this post with your default set. So the first thing we're going to do is create our audience. Now you'll see here, if I click see all, I've got a bunch of audiences saved right here, meaning that once you go in and create your audience, you don't have to, you can save it so that the next time you can just click the audience you want and then boost and then go from there. Now you might see this. This is actually great. So if you've never done an ad before, you might see this alert that pops up. It says your ad may not be approved. It looks like your ad may be for housing, employment, or credit opportunities. Such an ad can't run using multicultural affinity. Which one is even in there? Behaviors multicultural. Oh yeah, that's weird that I put that one in there. I should just delete that audience. So let me delete this one quick. I don't know why that was there. Okay. Just like with other forms of advertising, you can't violate anything fair housing. You can't target or exclude certain sexes, certain nationalities, certain what's the word I'm looking for? Handicap, issues. You can't do that kind of stuff. But if you get an alert like that pops up, basically the first time you do an ad, Facebook will say, hey, it looks like your ad's for real estate. Click here to check compliance. Basically saying, hey, click here to tell us that you're not breaking any laws. As long as you click that, your ad will run just fine. So you want to create an audience. I'm going to click create new audience, and I'm going to name it. So you can, this name of your audience is just for you. What's it going to be easy for you to remember? So I might do Houghton Lake audience, just so it's easy for me to remember. Or maybe I'll do luxury audience, or first-time home buyers, or lakefront, whatever you want to do. So I'll do Houghton Lake audience 1, just so I remember it. Gender, again, all. You have to do all. Age. These are all sort of loose guidelines, right? So depending on your listing is going to be how you're going to change the age range. If the home is listed for 150, 180, you might want to make the age range 24 to 40. Because it might be a first-time home buyer's home. If it's a luxury home, if it's, five, $700,000, $2 million, you're going to want to go a lot higher up. You might want to click 40, not 40 to 40, but 40 to 65 plus, because you're trying to reach anybody who could be affluent or affluent. I've heard it both ways. So the age part, you can make whatever you want. So for the sake of this one, we'll just do 25 to 50. We'll make it kind of a middle range generic one. Location, where it says add locations, you literally just type it in. Whoops, spell it right. Houghton Lake, Michigan. Boom. Now already, and we've talked about this, you guys are in a much more rural area. We already only have around 7,000 people in this area. Now you know it better than I do. So if I bring it up to like 50, now we're hitting 48,000 people. Now 48,000 people is still a pretty small audience, which is good, but we're doing a 50-mile radius. So maybe you want to bring it down to 40. See if we get there, 45. So that at this point, our audience is just males and females, 25 to 50, within a 40-mile radius of Houghton Lake. This detailed targeting section, this is where things get fun and where things get interesting and time-consuming. This is what sets Facebook apart. Facebook is targeted marketing. It is not mass marketing. Basically, what that means is that you're going to pay Facebook to put your ads in front of the right people, not all of the people. You're going to spend more money, or not more money, you're going to spend money to get in front of a smaller amount, but a more targeted, a more, qualified, I guess, audience. So, how are we going to do that? My suggestion here, we're going to go through this a bit, but always just, the first time you go in to make an audience, just go through these categories. There are so many categories on Facebook on their targeting. So if you click Browse, there are demographics, interests, and behaviors. Demographics are going to be categories that we fall into. So education, financial, life events, politics, I wouldn't really worry about that. But financial especially. If you're doing a luxury audience, you can target people who have a certain income level. So, you don't want people who make less than $125 or $150 to see your $1 million, $2 million home. They might think it's really nice looking, but they're not going to be qualified buyers or qualified to purchase the home. So that's a great one for luxury audiences. So that's all demographics. Like I said, they're categories we fall into. So take time to literally just go through and explore what some of these are. People who are married, relationships separated, divorced, etc. Interests. Interests is sort of the vaguest category of them all, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Interests are literally that. Things you're interested in, hobbies, sports, anything along those lines. The reason why it can be vague is that I could type in, so you can browse or you can type things in. And I could type in swimming, and swimming as an interest appears. Now, the problem there is that I might like swimming because I swam in high school, I was a swimmer, or it might mean that I love swimming on the beach. It's a bit vague. It could, they can oftentimes mean multiple things, which is fine though. Now, browse, the third category, behaviors. This is stuff that Facebook can kind of tell from us. I mean, basically, from the things that we post, from the way that we post. So, for example, my sister's getting married next month, and she's been posting a lot of stuff, hey, does anybody know a good wedding photographer in Michigan? Who knows a good DJ that we can use for the wedding? And then, of course, just like excited for can't believe the wedding is less than 30 days away. So when we post those publicly to Facebook, Facebook notices those keywords, right? They notice wedding. They notice photographer. They notice 30 days away, right? They take all these keywords and they put her into these categories of engaged, of soon to be married, of looking for this or that. So because of what we post, so if people are saying, anybody know a good realtor in town? Does anybody know good things about, my sister-in-law's thinking of moving to Indianapolis? She asked, does anybody know anybody down in Indianapolis, right? You hear things like that. Facebook notices things like that and can target that. Here is the secret audience post right here. Anything you do, if you go down to residential profiles, There is one, this is under behavior. So behaviors, residential profiles, likely to move. There is literally a category for people who are likely to move. You should definitely check that out. This is a detailed targeting thing. I'm going to actually screen grab this just for my own sake for a second. I've heard that this is a glitch, so I'm not going to, you shouldn't worry too much about it for now. So other thing, but you want to add, oh man, it's glitching on me. You can add other things too. Now, if you notice the text right here, it says include people who match at least one of the following. What that means is that the more you add, the more things you add here, the broader your audience is going to get. Not the more specific. I had people but once add 20 or 30 things think that when they add those things, they're going to target like 7 people because it's so specific. But because of the way it's worded, who match at least one of the following, I only need to match one of the following. So I like to always add Zillow, people who are interested in Zillow. Because if they're interested in Zillow, they might be looking for homes, right? I could do interested in hunting because maybe it's the home's got good acreage. And you'll see as I add more categories, this potential reach down here, this audience size, gets bigger. For the sake of it, I'm going to stop here. Just for, I have 4 things here. You can always go in and add more. Like I said, this is where you play around, where you test things. You see how many people there are. You see what categories are available, what might work for this audience, what might not. But then you're going to go ahead and save your audience. And now you can see right here, HL Audience 1, the one that we just made, it's checked. So now I have my audience created. Oh, and one last thing I should have said too, just so you guys know, you can add multiple locations. So right now I've just got the Houghton Lake one, but maybe I want to target Traverse City a little bit. Just like that, I can add multiple locations to this too. So I just want to show you that you can add multiple locations, not just one with a radius. Okay, so I've got my audience saved. The last 2 parts, budget and duration and payment. So budget and duration, right? How much do you want to spend? How long do you want to spend it for? The only thing that affects how many people you reach is how much you spend. So if you spend $20 over 1 day or $20 over 7 days or 14 days, you're still going to reach the same amount of people. It's just going to be a little bit spread out. It's not going to be as concentrated, which is good. If you do $20 for 1 day, I always say, well, what if I'm not on Facebook that day? What if I'm on vacation? What if I'm driving? I'm just, like last week I was in Ohio. It's a 5-hour drive. So the day that I was driving wasn't on Facebook that much. So what if I'm like the one to see your ad and I miss it? So that's why I always like to do longer. Now you can do 1, 7, or 14, or you can click this little calendar and you can say run this ad until, and then pick a date. So maybe run this ad until July 3rd. And then it'll parse out your money for you. It'll spread it out. So if you do, like I said, $20 over 13 days, it's just going to do 20 divided by 13 and spread it out like that. Now you'll see that I'm reaching a lot less people per day, but it's still the same amount of people total, more or less. People always say, how much should I spend on Facebook? I get that a lot. There are 2 answers. One answer is $1 a day is minimum. If you're going to do a 7-day ad, you have to spend $7. The real answer, though, is how many people do you want to reach? If you look here on this, if I click on 1 day, just to show you the full thing, if I do $3, I see a lot of people do $3 to $5 ads. If I do $3, I'm going to reach 280 to 890 people per day, somewhere within that range. That's great, but that's not that many people. If I go to $10, I'm already reaching 950 to 2,900 people. If I do $25, you just see it goes up. So, that makes sense, right? The more you spend, the more people you reach. So when people always say, people ask a lot, how much does Facebook cost? Well, Facebook costs however much you want it to. The real answer, or the real question is, how much do you want to spend? How much do you, like I said again, how much money do you want to spend on Facebook? How many people do you want to reach? The more you spend, the more you reach. We've got plenty of agents in this company across the country who have had massive success with Facebook. And I say this completely genuinely. If I were buying and selling full time, Facebook would be the majority of my marketing budget. It would not be an extra thing that I tack on or try. It would be the majority of the money I spend on advertising would go on Facebook. So people, the people who do well spend $100, $200, $300 a month on Facebook, and they get the results from it. And then some people see that and they want to do the same thing. They want to, they're like, well, I want that success with Facebook. I'm going to spend $20 a month. Okay, well, the guy next to you, the guy who you're talking about, is spending $200 a month. You can't expect the same amount of success when you're spending 10% of what they are. So honestly, the real question is, how much do you want to spend? So for $25, I'm going to reach between 2,000 and 5,900 people. So I'm going to do that over 7 days, and then I'm going to click boost. Now, I'm not going to click now because I don't want this to be an actual ad, obviously, but when you click boost for the first time, it's going to ask for your credit card info. You can do PayPal, you can do, your debit or credit card, whatever you want to do, and then you're off and running. Facebook will put your ad, quote unquote, under review, basically making sure that your ad is not violating any of their terms, right? You're not targeting people you shouldn't target. You're not saying anything inappropriate in the text, and then you'll get a notification within 5 to 10 minutes normally that says your ad is approved, and then boom, just like that, your ad's running, and then you're off. So again, I'm going to cancel this promotion, obviously. This was a carousel ad. Like I said, this was just multiple slides. You can do the same with a video. You can do the same with some photos with just one link. I could boost this as an ad, just this link right here. I could boost, there's a video down here somewhere, this video right here. I could do boost post here and boost that out to the audience too. So you have plenty of options for what you want to boost and how you want to boost it and how much you want to spend. One last point, and then I'll end on this. I'll take any questions if you guys have any. Consistency is so important with advertising. I mean, that's not just a Facebook thing. That's a marketing thing, full stop. But if I had one agent tell me Facebook marketing doesn't work, and this is a true story, is in our Grand Haven office, this agent, and they had done 3 ads over the course of 9 months. Each ad about 3 months apart. So they did one in September, October, November, one around December, and then one that ended in July. And they said Facebook marketing doesn't work. Each ad was about 3 days each. So I said, you advertised for 9 days over the course of 9 months. That averages out to a day a month. If you do any form of advertising 1 day a month, you're not going to have success with it. That's not a Facebook thing. That is an advertising thing. You need to have consistency. Because if you notice, every post that I do, every ad that goes out says my page name on top of it. JW Real Estate. Ruth Clemens Coldwell Banker. Your name is attached to every ad you do. And the people that I've seen have the most success with Facebook, they're getting calls from new clients. They're getting Facebook messages or emails from new clients that always start with, hey JD, I keep seeing your posts coming up on my Facebook, or I keep seeing your face on Facebook, or I keep seeing this, right? I keep seeing. The consistency is what works for these people. They don't just do one ad and get 15 new leads and they're set for the rest of the year. They are consistently finding valuable content, new listings, interesting articles, community events, sponsoring like Adopt-A-Pet events, anything like that. They're consistently finding interesting and valuable content and putting that in front of people and making themselves invaluable to their audience, to their area. They're becoming the digital mayor of their town, which is ultimately what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide value here. So, all right, that was a little over an hour. I know that you guys are probably tired of me talking. I'm going to unmute you and ask if you guys have any questions. Like I said, this whole thing was recorded. It will be uploaded to YouTube literally as soon as we're done. But do you guys have any immediate questions about anything?
Yeah, we're down to about 50 people.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Because of appointments, but I know Darla had one question, and then I do have a
question.
Okay.
Hi, JD. This is Darla. I'm a new agent.
Hi, Darla. Welcome.
Hi. I want to back up to where you were talking about videos and the Facebook.
Sure.
What I'm wondering is, can we post videos of our listings on our Facebook page? And I'm surprised we haven't already moved over to video listings rather than paper listings.
Do you mean like in terms of like the photos and stuff like that, or do you mean like video? Yeah.
Like if you have a listing and as long as your seller says it's okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna unmute you or I'm gonna mute you just for a quick second because I can hear the feedback. I would 100% do video for every single listing I have. One person, and I'll have you write this down. Check out Chris Jane sells homes. That Facebook page. He's one of our agents in Big Rapids. You guys might know his stuff. But yeah, I think it really comes down to the agent to agent sort of agent. You know, it's different from agent to agent. Some people I've talked with, they say that they don't see they've literally said, I don't see the value in doing a video for my listings. I don't see the value in doing Facebook advertising, and ultimately that's their call, right? I would personally, again, I would do a video for every single one of my listings. Now that does not mean that I would pay $200-300 to have them get drone footage and do a video walkthrough. Your iPhone or your smartphone, 9 times out of 10 is plenty sufficient to do something like that. So I would always, whether it's just me, and that's why I say go to Chris Jane's page and take a look at what he does for his listings. He does some amazing video listings. And I'll just kind of pull one up, and it's not going to run well because of the GoToWebinar, but it's literally him with a selfie stick. He doesn't pay somebody to go in. He does it all himself. I click on his videos, and I'll just click on this one right here. I'm going to mute it, but you'll see it starts with him talking for a couple seconds, and then it shows the house, and it shows him walking through the house. This video is great because it shows Chris, so it advertises him. He paid and he got 14,000 views on this video. So so you're getting it in front of people, potential buyers. Your sellers find value from you, saying, "Wow, he did a video for our listing." And then it also shows potential sellers what you do if you have a listing. So that video does 4 things amazingly. So yeah, I mean, I am surprised too that more people don't do video listings. I think sometimes it's just a case of not knowing how to, or not wanting to put in the work to it. I see a lot of people just say it's a lot of work, and I go, well, yeah, it is. It's a lot of work, but that's where the value is. So I would definitely do listing videos for every listing I have. Does that sort of answer the question?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I will say though, before I go to your question, Ruth, if you ever get a high-end luxury listing, I would always get video done, professional video done. I know it's expensive, but I mean, if someone is trusting you with their $1 million listing, Lord willing, $3 million listing, always get professional video done for that listing. Because I saw one listing in one of our states, I'm not going to say which state, there was a luxury listing last year, 2017, that the photos on the MLS were scanned in print photos from 2008. So not only did they not get professional video done, their photos were a decade old. That does not look, well, first of all, it doesn't look good for the brand, but secondly, that does not look good for and it was a $4 or $5 million listing. That's not good service for that seller. So if you ever get a high-end listing, video is in my opinion, is required, I'd say. Okay, sorry, Ruth.
Quick question.
Yes.
Obviously, I've been pasting from CB Great Lakes
Yes.
Incorrectly because I'm doing it direct to the Facebook share button.
Oh, sure.
A benefit besides scheduling or
The benefit is the scheduling and then the adding of the photos. It's those 2 things. If you were going to post it right now, like if you wanted to just share the listing now, you could click the share button and do it that way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a little bit limiting in your options.
but once they click on that, then all of the photos that are in
Yes.
CB Great Lakes are there also. So I'm really not getting more exposure by doing it that way. It just gives me options for scheduling.
Yeah, it doesn't once you've posted it, either way, if you posted it, it has the exact same effect. The difference is purely in the setup of what it's going to look like.
Got ya. Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are in a big hurry and just don't have the time to go in and do all that editing and scheduling. So getting it out there, if I just needed to know that they're going to get the same exposure.
They will, yeah. They will. And I get, like I said, I get the time thing. I truly do. And I think it's just a matter of ultimately what I think people miss sometimes is just making sure that whatever you're posting is as easy and beneficial for the people who see it as possible. And so sometimes that takes an extra minute or two, but mainly as long as you can get people to click on your ad, you're home free.
Okay, I've got another question here.
Yes.
Okay, I have two questions.
All right.
Best post. I do a lot of posting, but I don't know if I should do it in the morning or in the afternoon, or is there a better time?
Yes and no. So I know that's a cop-out answer, but generally what we've noticed with real estate pages, and you can, once you get a big enough audience on your page, you can actually go in and look at this, but these statistics, but you want at least 100 people to kind of get a good sample size. But what we've noticed with real estate is that most posts perform better in the evening and night, between like 5 and 10 p.m., literally as late as 10 p.m. Because those people, or people who are interested in buying and selling real estate, are adults, right? They're parents, they're working people, and so they're not, like at my old job, we noticed that it was 8 to 10 a.m. and 4 to 6 p.m. And we were like a YouTube channel, a Facebook channel, and our audience were college and high schoolers. So 8 to 10 and 4 to 6 before and after school. Real estate generally I've noticed is, like I said, between 5 to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday are your best days. Doesn't mean you shouldn't post on Friday, doesn't mean you shouldn't post on the weekend, but those are the best days to post. But I say yes and no because I take that with a grain of salt, because at my old job, the best post that we ever did was on a day that we don't normally post good content and at a time that we'd normally never post. It was a Thursday at 12, and in 24 hours I got 15 million views. So generally speaking, evenings are best, but I always would prefer to sort of spread them out. You do one at 10 a.m. one day, Tuesday's post is maybe the 9 p.m. one, Wednesday it's like 3 or 4. I like to spread it out because I don't want to miss something. And that's just the way that I would run it, but there's no reason not to spread it out like that. So 5 to 10 p.m., but also try other things just to see if they work too. As you go, just see if those evening posts do perform better, or if your morning posts perform better, they reach a few more people, get a few more likes. Maybe try trending more toward the morning.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
That's
we're
it?
down to 10 people, so.
Okay.
Be glad, please send me that link.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Get it, everybody, I appreciate it very much.
Of course, and if you or anyone else, as always, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, anything, give me a call, shoot me an email, anything at all. We're here to help you guys. That's our goal. So let me know.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
No problem. You guys have a great rest of your day. Let's quiz. Webinar.